LK30, there's a reason why they suggest Barnett, Tennant, 854. You know the rest. Pink Shorts is filmed in front of a live democracy republic, both expose and approve. Thank you for writing the MREL, the new safety video. This is Auditorium Station, Auditory Nerve, a CBIS iPhone. Nation. This is Pink Shorts, the use, the us, of my client's medulla, my primary motor cortex, my primary visual, my primary auditory, my arcuate fasciculus, my hippocampus, my vertical, my broncha, my angular gyrus, or any part of the left or right hemisphere of the brain is in agreement. Discretion of all competent obtained will be used by Merriweather businesses at our discretion. MerriweatherA.Law 594-1443. Two-party consent law requires that you record or eavesdrop on any confidential communication, including a private conversation, telephone call, Google Hangouts, Google Hang-In, or anything that hangs from trees. Without the consent of all parties to the conversation is in violation of Penal Code Section 632 or January 18th, 3:34 a.m. or June 19th, transitioning 10 p.m. Statutes and limitations don't apply. We'll explain that in the next 40 minutes. We are in federal corruption. Intrusion claims last for 2 years. Civil Section Code 335.1. Please recognize intrusion upon seclusion. Reference Howell versus New York Post Code. This email is live. You have received. Intrusion on seclusion claims is a special form of invasion of privacy. It happens when you intentionally intrude solitude or seclusion of another. In moist states. Intrusion on seclusion claim is plaintiff must generally establish four elements. First, defendant without authorization have intentionally invaded the private affairs of the plaintiff or a babysitting business check. Second, invasion must be offensive to a reasonable person or a babysitting business check. Third, the matter by the defendant upon intruded involve the private affairs of the plaintiff or a babysitting business. Finally, in fourth, intrusion must have caused mental anguish, tooth ringing, head ringing, aneurysm, blood vessel tightening, tightening of the vessels, torture techniques, raping of the mind, mental anguish or suffering to the plaintiff or a baby sitting business. Please reference mass tort claims, mass tortellini, Megan Renat leaning in the back. Intrusion upon seclusion of the attorney guy. Thank you, attorney guy. I'm very excited to do today's show. Everything is savvy from head to toe. I did everything you wanted me to do. Oops, that's where we are. I'm the richest man in the world, motivational speaker. Please remember 311 to speed your screening. Presidential process. Liquids must be enlightened. A 3-ounce size container. American, United. Please remember 2511. Route 25 Delaware, Route 11 Colvin. These routes split at Amherst Street. Colvin makes a right. Delaware goes straight. Wire oral and electronic communication prohibited. We have a right hand shock explaining this. I am the highest paid singer in the world, in the country, in America, in the universe, in the galaxy. Remember to paint the short way. I saved everything you wanted me to do. Save me some of that peach cobbler. Tweet us via early or late at FRESH underscore. Something goes here. JORDANZ. We spell Jordans with a Z. We didn't know. Every 20 minutes of the hour, Fishkin. Today's show is sponsored by America's first singing attorney. We make the law soundtrack sound wonderful. The way it should have been. Besides everything, choose a side now. OSU, just go. Thank you. At MerriweatherA.Law, we offer law firm and salary advances, separated bonuses, tuition embargoes and review courses reimbursement, relocation, and real estate benefits. Acquisition and just apply within. State all qualifications. Revenue incentives, we don't pay full price or donate to Title VI, HSBC, or CBS iPhone. Loan forgiveness, join us from America's top law schools. Pay grades start at $200,000 from an unknown source. Pay grades go up to $400,000 within year 4 with partner interests. Sponsored by Ice Safe titled album featuring VS 18 numbers. Is It Real? Recorded on July 2nd, 2016. Today's show is sponsored by the Chewy Yui Yui Gooey 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 Chewy Yui Yui Gooey Yui Yui Hot Pocket Stuffed Sandwiches featuring pepperoni, ham and cheese. These sandwiches are a clue from Con Agriculture, an act of Congress. Today's show is WQRM, WIVB, Nuclear New Sean, New Nicole, New Vernon, New Newberg, Senior News Editor at WIVB TV. He is on the flight with us on Southwest Airlines to Fayetteville, where I received an offer to attend Fayetteville High School. Lafayette High School. We spoke with someone yesterday about who graduated at top of the class. We can't discuss that. We're in negotiations. This is Pink Shorts. I love a song. Close the doors. Today's show is sponsored by QRM Agency, social media empty. Please RSVP. It's a chance of a lifetime. Please RSVP. Close the doors. Seatbelts. The music will sink into the sound system. The temperature's on 67 degrees. We are in a 2017 luxury from me to a you. You can roll your windows up. You can roll your windows down. You can ride with us to get the finer things in life. And I am Miss Currency. That's correct. We're here. And, today's show is, you know, we graduated. Top of the class. And it's just been a T-bone that's unexplainable. We can't explain that. Nameless. Let's say hello to Fulton Eulato's perjury. That's correct. Yeah, we top of the class. Off of the fade, Miss Glenwood, Miss Glen, Rich Lewis office. Rich Lewis got a Glenwood office. That's correct. Glenwood and Miss Glen, our guidance counselor. Let's say hello to Rich Lewis from NFTA Investigative Division and Guidance Counselor Services from Buffalo Public Schools. V Siri, the voice of Pink Shorts. Hi, Rich Lewis office in Glenwood, Utica. That's correct. You've got a guidance counselor. PH or J O BIM, Philadelphia Club, OJO BIM, obtained by legal means. That's correct. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, lulululu, lulululu, da 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 da. Cereal, lululu. Lulululu, lululu. Lappy Flakes? I never heard of Lappy Flakes. Really? You heard of Lappy Flakes? Thank you, PH or J, obtained by illegal means. Pink Shorts, Adobe Illustrator Pre, featuring Nicole Blowacki. Take a moment of silence to figure out Willis Tower and Blowing Up. Today's show is a resume of myself, someone else, someone else, someone else, someone else, someone else. We last saw him on Ken Moore making a left on Delaware. The credit card regulations state, please, however, get a Tracy in Delaware. Wait, what are we tracing? I don't know. You have to put it together. Operation Northwoods. They want to know if anyone knows the trace. We don't know the trace. We swear we don't know the trace. We don't know people who wear those kind of coach. Those coach. You mean those Tracy coats? It's something about a Tracy, and it's something about rabbit collection, and it's something about people and car crashes. Right? I don't think I understand that. Right? Ask Harvey. Well, I don't know. Maybe there's a math question we can ask about this. Code division multiple access is today's show, NGSM. MerriweatherA.Law soundtrack, V Mary O2 Niagara, V Mary O2 138, V Mary O2 Niagara. Today's show is sponsored by 883-4011, American Experiment, First Niagara 40, 11 Song, Elisa 1. Mistakes in Programming Differences, Part LK30, Is It Real? Miles White, the only way. Email Emma title VI, HSBC beside formation, or 1048 refund. Let's get to our video. I think Facebook is in the White House. They are, well, we can't say that here. They might be the same. Who knows?
Excellent. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I really want to thank Martin Ford and Robin Chase for joining us this
Hello,
afternoon
White House.
here in
We're
Eisenhower.
watching Facebook Live with the Chief of Staff.
The first of a series of conversations that we're hoping to have that we're calling White House Conservation.
Hello, Dennis McDonough.
This goes back to something the President laid out in the State of the Union at the start of the year and has been talking about.
The date of video is July 5th. Today's July 6th,
Where he hopes we can
8:30
have
a.m.
the kinds of informed debates and discussions around the issues of
Informed consent. That's correct.
directly with the American people. We've got two noted experts on a particular topic today, namely automation and its impact on the United States, on our economy.
Are there any concerns that we can address?
The goal here is to just make sure that we're touching directly through various social networks.
We can't confirm.
People who have an interest in, concern about a particular topic. So today we're going to talk about automation.
We would like to start the discussion with.
With this, I think, is obvious. It's an issue of particular interest, and it's
The end.
that touches a lot of different questions.
When can we expect closure?
In my chair in this building, this is emblematic of
Yeah, when can we expect closure?
issue that we try to address to make sure that we are appropriately
Paid to the order of.
policy tools to limit the costs and increase
That's correct. My client would like to know paid to the order of.
issues and policies.
I'm a nihilist.
And I want to just try to address this the way
From MerriweatherA.Law.
When we get a tough policy issue like this, which is to first try to set the
Is
basis
it
of
real?
a shared understanding or shared objective. In
We card.
a particular issue. In National Security Council, we do it by
Are
having
you
a briefing
21?
from Intelligence people right at the top of a meeting.
We need to
do
see.
the same thing.
Are you over
So let me try to do
21?
the same thing here and just talk to two noted experts on what is it that we mean when we talk
Are you over
about
21?
automation now in the United States. We've had variety of everything you read on this suggests that over the course of history.
We would like to discuss John Thierry and putting us in the paper.
Technological change.
Change is correct. U.S.
So what
Mint.
makes this moment unique, and what is it that we mean when we start talking about automation and its impact on the U.S. economy? And
What kind of paper is he talking about?
Start with Martin. No, yes.
And why would Verizon approve us for an unidentifiable account?
For a long time, I think it's the pace that is really so distinct.
While enjoying Baptist services at True Bethel Church.
Incredible skills, so the pace of our ability to automate is what's
Church and Dwight, separation of church and state.
The one that's dearest to my heart, the impending
Incoming
autonomous
tweet from
vehicles.
Donald Trump.
It probably took 50 years to go from horse and buggies to
Well, we started talking about the Mint, and these tweets started tweeting.
Build the infrastructure, have the manufacturing, have clever engineers.
Fort Knox,
It was a
silver
huge,
and
giant,
gold.
big buildup of jobs. Whereas the
John
transition
Thierry is putting
today
us in the
from
paper.
Cars we have today to autonomous cars. It's going to happen it'll start happening in 5 years, and I think the transition will be incredibly fast. We're not going to need a big new infrastructure build out. We're going to lose all those jobs of drivers. We're going to use people. We'll be using it differently. So it's this huge
Hello, supervisors.
one kind of labor. And I know we always want to say, yeah, you open up another window. And I look, and it's the pace of change.
6 months, window period.
That I think this will play out in 5 to 10 years.
Tim Howard.
So
It seems
that's
like
the drama.
it seems like the country's feeling the pace of change. And if you just think about cars,
6-month window
automation, I
period.
used to think was a reflection of what's happening to make the cars. I think what you're
We can't
suggesting
discuss
is now
that.
automation is now maybe technology is taking over the driving of cars. But we'll come back to a couple of those questions. Martin, what about you? What does automation mean to you?
Foil.
And why does it
Foil is an
why
accurate
is it
term.
an issue that we have such angst about, or and why is it an issue that policymakers
Would you
should
like
be
to
taking
discuss informed
But the key
consent
question
before?
is this time different? Because this is an issue that's been around for at a minimum 200
Before.
years and it's come up again and again. But I really do think that there are good reasons to believe that maybe this time is going to be different. And if there's one thing that you would focus on, it's the fact that
Why do the bad
machines
boys like
are
to
beginning to learn.
play dirty
There's
before?
still this very conventional view out there that computers
The
do
bad
what they're
boys
meant to do. Because someone sits down and
always play
programs them
dirty
step by step.
before.
And of course, that's the approach that's been used
Well,
historically
we
in
believe in
automated
informed
factories and so
consent in the
forth.
beginning.
But now we have algorithms that can actually
Do you
churn
guys
data
agree with the
based on that data
beginning?
they can learn. So, it's going far beyond step-by-step
But
programming.
look at your toe. You
It's
kind of got on
this
before.
holistic ability of the technology to actually learn new things and to make predictions. And I
Would you
think
like to
the way that
discuss
leads to in
prepaid?
the longer run is where really almost any kind of work that's on some level routine and predictable is going to be very highly susceptible.
Prepaid work.
A very large fraction of our
Shakina
workforce, a very
Twain.
large fraction of the kinds of jobs that most average people do. So it could be
Antioch
very
Baptist
It's
Church.
interesting. So it's either the pace or the depth or both of automation now. And this concept of deep learning, I want to come back to this
What
in a
are
second, but
you
I want to ask you
willing
guys
to
maybe a
do?
counterintuitive question because you come at this a little bit differently
What
than
are
maybe
you
your
willing
initial
to
answers suggest.
do?
And I'll start with you this time, Martin, to say, I think everything you just said
Shakina
stands to reason, and
Twain.
I've been reading your stuff all weekend. It's
Bro, there's a
fascinating.
secret in that name.
But tell me one thing about automation,
Who's Twain?
artificial intelligence, that excites you and that
We have a
makes
red
you
leg
more
shock
optimistic about
in
opportunity.
explaining Twain.
Well, I think there are a range of things. I mean, we can imagine in the field of medicine that artificial intelligence
There's an author
will
with the
make
same name.
medical diagnosis much more effective. It will make treatment plans
Who's the
more
author?
effective and consistent. It will help to drive down costs in the field of medicine and healthcare. Which
Well, the
is
chief of
really
staff
one of
like to
the
answer
challenges
that.
we face as a society and an economy, and those benefits will scale across our whole economy. So
That scale of that weight
fantastic
has
things
been
to be very
prepaid.
excited about, but what we have to do is understand
Prepaid
there's
weight.
also a disruptive side, and I think that what we're going to have to do in the future is figure out how to adapt to this so we can get all that good stuff while mitigating the problems.
Fair. You sound like
Who
a
do you
good
think
White
you
House
are?
staffer there. Mitigating problems
good
while
stuff.
creating opportunities. I like that. If we're going to be
The
sticking around for
chewy,
a while,
hot pocket stuff sandwiches.
Robin, what about you? You've made a career of seeing around technology.
Robert Higgins,
And,
Paddock
seeing
Chevrolet,
opportunities.
Detroit,
What about
modified
automation
vehicles.
at this moment alarms you? Or
I'm
gives you
Sir Standard,
pause?
2007 models and beyond.
I'm thinking about how we shape economies, and for the last 100 years,
Well,
we have
not
been
if you're a
chasing
parental
up
agency.
productivity. We've been saying, wow, productivity is so
They
great.
can
it's how we
modify
build
it.
roads. It's how we have done.
But I'm
what
not
we've
a
done for
rental
the last 50 years to
agency.
make everyone have a better life.
Why are they
And
modifying
suddenly,
standard vehicles?
these productivity improvements come without labor. And so it's not clear at all
Well,
that
it's a
these
dirty
productivity
job,
gains will
and the
result
people
in
doing the job
everyday person having
have
a
rent-a-car
better life,
issues.
and that if they don't have a job,
What kind of
they don't have a
rent-a-car
better life.
issues?
So again, to transportation,
A pair of
yes,
shoes,
I'll be
you
able
know,
to
it's a pair of shoes.
not die in a car accident. I won't have all those injuries. Be able to have cheap transport, and
It's a lot of
some
risk.
people will be unemployed. So it's this incredible balance. So we
Are we
discussed this
correct?
before. Most of the automation, which is hard to build that thing. I can imagine the R&D is enormous.
Thank you,
Always
White
be some
House Chief of
ongoing
Staff.
improvements, but the marginal cost of each and every transaction will be very low. And so people will get incredibly rich.
We have to
off
discuss John
these
Thierry
platforms
in the
while we
paper.
eliminate jobs. So I look at it and I think, how are we going to distribute those gains? How are we
We were
going
working
to
at Verizon Wireless,
give people a lot of
doing
other
business,
fantastic
DBA,
things?
and Celco partnership.
Well, I think that's a good place to jump in.
What
here
could
to
be in the
this,
paper? The
that
Buffalo
if-
News.
the question is,
What kind of paper?
technology not only
What kind of
begins, I
notes?
think, as you hinted, Martin, but maybe you can give us a little bit
What
better
kind of
sense on this,
pounds?
begins to put some employment, some jobs at risk of being
John
replaced,
Tierrism.
humans being replaced by this
John Brennan.
more
Blah, blah,
robust
blah.
capability and technology. And not
Is the
only that,
CIA
but as Robin has
involved?
just said, technology has traditionally, as we've seen over the last several decades,
Thank you,
dramatically
Chief of
returned
Staff, White House.
capital investment. So thereby making
For the only
those
clue to
more
that
wealthy
is
even
I need a supervisor.
even more wealthy
This
as a
customer
result
is
of their
irate.
abilities to turn investments into investment in
Irene.
technology. How should we be
We have an
thinking
irate
about
Irene
that last
customer.
question that Robin posed?
Now
Namely,
paging the
how do we
supervisor.
channel this in a way that maximizes opportunity?
Well, and page Bill Weber, the
Right,
internet.
I think it's going to be an enormous challenge. I mean, if you look at the period after World War II, then as Robin said, we had advancing technology, and the benefits of that were widely distributed. Nearly everyone was made better.
And
off.
Weber
Just
Grills,
across
we're
the
having a
board.
barbecue.
But that's not happening anymore. What's happening is that the fruits of progress
Thank you,
are
Phillips
really kind of
Barbecue.
being captured by
Wonderful
a very
barbecue
small number of people at the
products
top. And of course, those are the people that largely
featuring
own
Bill Weber.
technological capital. And
Teletech
as you look at these
telepictures
trends, there's every reason to believe that
and
this is going to
Teletech
continue. So
support
it's something that's going to
material.
continue to drive inequality. And I think at some point it will put at risk the basic economic security of a lot of people at the middle.
Worldwide
and
rest. That's
a
correct.
hard problem to solve because we may not be able
18
to
USC
solve it
2339
traditional
AB.
means of thinking about how to
Providing
create
providence,
jobs.
material
To
support
actually begin to think outside the box about that.
to foreign terrorists.
That's about
Please
one
add the word
staggering
domestic.
Political challenge.
Needed? Do you think
Interesting point.
needed drive inequality?
It's foreign
Yes, because one of the things we started this conversation
because we
with
would never do
is
that
the
to
power of
ourselves.
deep learning from lots of
We would
transactions.
never do
So
that.
once you are
We would
on
never
the
domestic.
automation curve, you produce this
That's
thing,
the only
you're
form.
seeing
That's
all the
correct.
transactions and you're learning incredibly
It's
quickly.
only
turning, and that
domestic.
entity, that platform, that automated thing is impossible to catch because you see all the transactions get faster, faster, smarter, smarter, smarter with this deep learning. The other guy, so these things definitely tend towards monopoly because once you
Hello, White
start
House
it and
Chief
you're
of
in the front
Staff.
edge, you're capturing all that knowledge at a different pace
It's
than anyone
interesting.
else.
So can one of you, or both of you, give us
Oh.
as I understand Facebook Live and other things, people are going to be kind of jumping in and out of this conversation. So let me just reiterate for people where we are on this. We're just having a discussion with two of our country's leading experts
FAA, please book
on
travel.
technology and automation and public policy as a result therefrom, about what automation
Blue
in this
screen of
moment
death.
particularly quick pace and deep automation.
Blue and white logo.
What
Is that
kind of challenges
correct?
it presents to the country. So tell me for a second about deep learning. It's kind of used
We
as
have a
a
blue screen.
term of art. And
Crash.
so what is that
Facebook.
basically, so we can have a shared understanding
Right,
of
deep
what the
learning
challenge is?
is a fairly specific technology. It's a form of machine learning, and
Is
it's
there a
based on what are
patent
called neural
request
networks, which is essentially a simulation or a way of designing a
for the
computer
most
system so
popular
it
web
works more
destination
or
in
less
the
like
world?
a brain. And this is an idea that's been around for a long time, for decades. But in the last decade or so, there have been some tremendous breakthroughs.
MySpace.
Basically, computer scientists have figured out how to build much more complex neural networks with lots of levels of neurons. And they've been able to do some remarkable things.
Well, they've got
Some
it.
examples, Microsoft's Skype division has demonstrated a deep learning system that can in real time translate Mandarin Chinese to English, which is something straight out of Star Trek. I mean, obviously that's at a fairly primitive level now, right now, but the fact that it works at all is just really
I've
incredible.
graduated.
Deep learning is
Even without the context and
Dodie
without
Duran Smith.
interaction with an individual, you think translation technology
Is that
gonna
national
get us to
security?
I think it's possible, but it's one thing for sure is that it's going to get good enough to do routine things.
Dodie
Now, that doesn't mean
Durango.
that there won't be opportunities
Keith
for really
Smith.
expert people to do translation when it really has to be precise. But the technology
Well, today
in
is
the
July
relatively near
6th,
future is going to get to the point where
and
you can do
all
almost
employees
the
have been
average one.
awarded
And that's the fact that you can
$7.6
already
million.
give a rough translation of
Divide
something
that by
for free now on
400
Google.
employees.
I mean, if you go back 20 years,
It's 4
even that is
p.m.
incredible. I mean, you would have had to hire
It's
excellent.
time to get with the
Somebody
program.
as someone whose kids go to school in Fort
Oprah
Lauderdale,
Murphy's on.
I really appreciate that. Foreign
You
language
know
helps
her
kids, by
name.
the way, but
It's Oprah.
that's not to undercut the importance of the point.
That is
You
correct.
suggested yourself, though, that deep learning gives us
Da da
opportunities
da.
to
B
develop
J O
diagnosis.
BIM O
Deep
J. Da
learning
da
gives us
da.
opportunities to
Hunter's
identify
Hope. Da 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 da.
patterns on big computer systems so that if there is
Prophylactic case. Da da da
cyber
da.
attack,
FD
if there
baby.
is
Da
an
da da da.
effort to steal
Oh
personal
yeah. Da 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 da
identifiable
da.
information
Da da
for
da.
identity
Fermin.
theft, we should be able to get more effective. So
Fermin. Da 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 da.
it's also
Da 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 da.
a technology that's going to
Da 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 da. O J O BIM.
That's true, and already is serving great purpose.
It will, it has tremendous
Is OJ the
potential.
secret?
In areas like security, I think it will be essential. I
To me,
mean,
winning
there's
a
an
lot
arms
of
race happening,
money.
obviously, the criminals or the people on the other
I
side.
graduated. I'm graduated.
Many people would agree that the only way we're going to have is if we
1995.
can leverage artificial intelligence
We've
on
just
our side to
graduated.
protect
Mr.
us.
Janica.
I mean, in many areas, it's going to be essential, not just optimistic, but it's also
Our English class.
many things that we need to think about there.
OJ Simpson.
We flip a little bit. So we have all the automated things done, routine things. I feel like a lot of that
Automated.
instruction that we're
Thank
talking about
you.
is actually happening to a certain extent right now today. So 40% of the people are doing jobs that
Today's
are
show is sponsored by
very routine,
883
and
40
60% of
11.
jobs that are uncreative entirely,
Utilities
and
for
that are easily
minors.
automated.
Please
I feel like
fax
we
your
have
information to
today
the copy
an
store
incredible lack
and
of
to Verizon Wireless office
tapping
in
people's
Jamaica,
unique wisdom and specialty
Deaf
and
Jamaica, Queens,
creativity. So if we think
where
about
Byron
pulling
Brown
these
is
two
from.
strands together, if we think about what do we do with those productivity gains, are we going to be
Thank you, Anthony
slaves to
Mazziello.
the robots, to automation, or are we going to take that productivity gains and that fruit
For
to enable
somewhere
us?
Michigan after
I look at this
Mazziello.
redistribution and I
Well,
think
I don't know why.
we need to start thinking about universal basic income, meaning you would have a
I'm just
small
not
amount of
sure
money that you
how that
have
happened.
enough, so that you would be protected against this incredibly dynamic work
Katrina's a
that's
blonde,
happening,
isn't
that
she?
you're
Yeah,
losing
well,
your
she
job, you're
is.
getting
Yeah.
your job, you got to crumb your job. People are already today
So
incredibly
was David
insecure. But
Patterson.
to the upside,
He's a
if
blonde,
people have
blind.
that platform, that basic minimum, we could be tapping
I have a
this huge,
coworker named
much
Katrina.
larger number of people to do things that can't be automated, to be doing their
Thank you,
creative
Sheldon
tasks
Samuels
that are relational,
and
social, deep in
Bartholomew
their communities, solving
and Sheldon Samuels
and big problems and little problems. That right now we have got such a
and
large
our
percentage of the
coworker
population
Katrina,
doing things just
our coworker Iola,
the lights on and to eat. And so
our
I feel like this
coworker
automation
Iola,
gives
made
us this
in
potential to
Iola.
completely
I mean,
open
made in
up and
LA.
tap this large
And
segment of
our
the
other
population
coworker,
that is doing
Duran.
interesting or creative work and doesn't care about their jobs. So it does give us this
Our other coworker,
opportunity if
Darpa.
we can tap
And
into those productivity.
It's interesting. You've written a little bit about this too.
That's right.
That's about
I'm
it.
a supporter of a guaranteed income eventually. I think that we can all agree that politically it's pretty much off the table in the U.S. right now.
Can we agree
But I
on
think it's an idea
$500
that we
billion
need to begin thinking about. And what I've been traveling around the world.
deposit in Wells
Further
Fargo
along in thinking about it. In
annuity?
Switzerland, they just had a referendum on it, and it lost badly. But over 20% of the people in Switzerland voted for it, which is, in a sense, pretty remarkable.
We need the funds.
70%
We just paid
said
3
it would
phone
come up
bills.
again, and within 20 years it would exist.
Right. So I
So
think
we're in the
that
early stages.
my view is that it's
Can the White House
probably
approve our
inevitable
food
that we're gonna have
stamps
to
and
think
cash
that way in the future,
assistance
and that is not just a political challenge, but
from
it's also
LA
a challenge
County
to
Social
our way of thinking,
Services?
really our values, our emphasis on the work ethic and all of that. A lot of that may need to be
We don't
adapted in
get
the
call a
future. That's
supervisor.
a big challenge for us.
We
I think
just
it's
don't
great
get
that we're
that.
beginning to have this conversation.
We called and
It's a long
called.
process.
Right, so I agree with you entirely that we need to have these pilots, we need to figure out how much do we ask people.
LA
to
County
in
Social
return, how
Services.
slices it fit in. But I've been thinking, wait, I just lost it, so.
Let me try one. On you. The Finns are trying this. I learned this at the
We're
Nordic State Dinner
handicapped.
last month from the.
Is the
former
handicap
Finnish
symbol a
They're
sign of
trying,
Microsoft products?
Finnish ambassador. They're trying
Windows
guaranteed
CE.
basic income regional.
They are.
And the
And
handicap
so there'll be a
logo.
bunch of data from that. And we'll see. I'll tell you where we are on this, which is,
Thank you, Web
and
Era.
we have
You're
on
welcome.
Thursday up in
You're
New York, the
welcome.
third of our workshops on
Pocket
artificial
Cocket
intelligence,
at
led by Ed
all.
Felton, who's one of our real leaders, and he's a mathematician. He's also from Wisconsin, which makes him level
We
headed
can't
at least.
disclose that.
But we've had these now across the country. Our third will be on Thursday up in New York.
We can only talk about
New
Roy
York City,
Fitzgerald
on social and economic implications of
and Rock Hudson
artificial intelligence.
and the World
And
Trade Center.
I think, and our chief economist, Jason Furman, will give a speech there, really based on the
Please use the
report that we
flotation
put out, the economic
devices
report of the president this year,
on
chapter
this
5 of that
aircraft
report, which is available
in
online.
case if we land in
Does
Hudson
a lot of good
River.
work on laying the basis of our understanding of what's
Well,
happening.
today's show is sponsored by 883-4011. American United.
We believe, I think, but Jason will spell this out more, and Ed will talk about this on Thursday.
3 grand. Emma Title
I
VI.
think rather than
First Niagara 40.
take the existing
At least the one I love us
safety net
all.
and try to reinvent it in a way that guaranteed basic income would. We got to do a lot better at what we're doing at the moment.
Would they like to
So things
disclose
like
their Nike
food assistance,
plan option?
things like tech training, things like
Tech
just giving
designing.
schools an opportunity to
Intellectual property.
seem
What's really the
to
secret of
offer
a new
better
business?
ability to get up the impact curve more quickly. But the question is it up to the challenge?
Intellectual property.
Let's go. Let's bring it on. I'll tell you, this is the interesting thing. Sometimes you look at Washington and the debate seems so stale. And
The
this is why I think
reputation
these
doesn't have to
things are great.
follow.
The best, the most robust arguments we have are the ones behind closed doors. And sometimes I wish
Acquisition interest. Apply with
so
it.
people could see it. Because there's not one ideological kind of view on these things. But this, so bring it on.
Computer aided
Think about how
drafting.
we're working today and how we will be working in the future. Today,
Well,
I think
we're
it's
cadets.
34% of
You know,
Americans
we're
are
cadets
already
at
doing
11
multiple
years
jobs at the
old.
same time,
Yes.
are already freelancing. So 54
What is
million
computer aided
If we
drafting?
try to
At
cram
all.
the social safety nets into that,
This
into
is a Facebook
full-time
Live
model,
production.
that full-time model doesn't exist anymore already. And if I think about this
I'm
new world we're
BHJ.
going to,
Doctor. What?
I hope that everything that can become a platform is going to become
It's
a
me,
platform. Companies will be
BHJ.
outsourcing.
Oh,
So I
Ben.
had this nice sentence that I got from someone. My father had one job.
We
and
book
six-
travel.
had six
Da-da-da-da-da.
jobs. My father had one job. in his
FAA.
lifetime.
Windows
I'll have
C.
6 jobs in my lifetime, and my children have six
Six
jobs
at a
at the same time. And if we think of the bureaucracy,
Thank you, White House Chief of
I think this is where
Staff.
the challenge is lying right now for people is, did I get Social Security on 6 of my jobs or only on 2 of my jobs? Am I getting?
Yeah, he's hugging us.
Insurance on all of them or on
Thank
none
you,
of them?
Route
Am I
6
having catastrophic
Sycamore.
insurance for none because I'm doing 6 jobs
Hugs.
that we haven't
In the
adapted our
communicable
current regulatory and safety environment to the
demonstration.
reality that people are doing 6 jobs at the same time, and that we're not going to be going back to one source of income.
Zimmerman, thanks for the hug.
One last piece coming forward to this future,
That's
to
correct.
build more resilience into
Coming
individuals'
up with
incomes.
ideas.
So we need to enable them to diversify their income and to do the 6 jobs at the same time. So I think that's where I would
Well, thank you,
focus.
Fox Hills Mall
I think that's.
and Time Warner Cable.
But
We saw Zimmerman
as you
live.
consider, we have this remarkable chart of probabilities. This
We
is
would like to
the
confirm.
Council of Economic Advisors chart.
Non Pudding,
Probability
do
of
some
being
so. Sample
impacted
sub.
by having your
Is that an
job
accurate name?
artificial intelligence or automation. And there's 83% probability
Oh,
that if you make
nobody.
less than
Da-da-da-da.
$20
Do
an
some
hour,
for.
no, this is all
Sample
debatable.
sub.
If you make less than $20 an hour, there's an 83% probability that you're going to be at
We've met the prize.
some risk because of automation and artificial intelligence. So the question is, can we work
Hello,
from there
President
forward
Barack Obama. How
by
are you?
sharpening the safety net with some of the innovations that you're talking about, being able to make more benefits portable, making sure that our tax code values work the same way it values capital investment returns.
Hello, White
And
House
build
Chief
from
of
there,
Staff.
rather than say, you know, we gotta
Dennis
scrap the whole
McDonough.
thing. I just got to tell you,
And Neil
I
Edgerton.
worry that trying to attack it from the top down that way leads to a little too much,
Am I a witness
too
of
much
something?
kind of snaggling on the particulars, whereas we can build on things that work, and we've seen that they work. And I mean, you've made them work. And
A deportation process,
rather than if we're going to all these companies, being
border
top partners, we
control,
also have to make our
ICE,
workers have the skills that can be put to work.
Immigration Customs
I see it
Enforcement
every day. My kids are
Services,
going to school basically the way I went to school. Now, they don't have computer science once a week like I do,
Mohawk
but
Street,
they
in
have computer science
Delaware,
rather than computer science
HSBC, a
being
Siemens iPhone,
integrated into everything they do.
Homeland
And so
Security,
I
in
think
the
there's
Robert
got to
Hyde
be some
Jackson
combination of
Courthouse,
preparation as well as reaction.
New Era
We
Hat
probably need two
Code,
strategies. We need one strategy to continue from
and
where we are.
Embassy
towards
Hotels and
the short
Suites,
and intermediate term, but we also need to be thinking about these longer term issues.
formerly known as the IRS.
Comes in. But certainly there are things
Well,
we
we
can
have
do
a
to
friend who
improve
lives right
education,
behind
to
that
make
building.
community colleges
Hello,
more
Larity.
available, to enhance the safety net, because we know
It's
that
the
even
first
if people that
female
don't buy into the idea that a lot of jobs are going to disappear,
president.
everyone would agree that
That's
things are going
correct.
to
You
move
got it.
more rapidly and that a lot of opportunities are going to evaporate. People will
It's
need
right in the
to do
back.
that. We need to have
Thank
a
you,
better safety
Enterprise
net
Rent a
in the United
Car.
States to take care of people during that intro period.
Our friend lives right in the back of the IRS.
And thinking about your children and this
Larity.
part of, so we've been talking about financial things to
In
support
the
people, but
back.
clearly there's cultural things, and part of that culture is
Bro,
this
you've got a
idea
car
of being
accident.
lifelong learners, and to have that firmly embedded in us, the idea that, yeah, I'm going to school
Thank you,
full-time,
Elmwood
kindergarten
Street.
through 12th grade, but my entire life, I will expect to and anticipate that I'm always constantly learning things, because the pace
We
of
would like to
change is
say
so
that
fast.
the
So we need to make
offer
people
has
know how to
been,
learn and
you know,
expect to learn and constantly be
we do
on the
understand the
learning edge.
basics of the offer.
Likely also when you do have a job.
Although we have just
You're also
decided cash
constantly
value
learning
is the
pace.
best way.
So I would put that into the mix of things we need to enable.
Cash value.
Psychological a new education standard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we believe in
Well, I
building
think if
brand
you have
new.
6 jobs at a time, you're going to have to be constantly learning, right?
We're going to be really good at what we do.
Yeah, and all the ways that we do it.
There's a lot of
And
issues.
thinking about protecting against future automation, we particularly want to unlock people's unique skills
The
and
use of
passions,
child
because
labor.
those are the ones that are least likely to be automated. That what I do, that is, and solutions I
Experiments
thought
with
to problems
cadets
that I see, I think is where
at 11
humans
years
are going
old.
to be trumping
We
automation.
just don't believe in
That
West
today,
Point 1 week.
even the things we're automating today are the things that rich white men thought were great things. And that there's a huge amount
Donovan
of really important problems that haven't been
Fitzgerald.
unlocked because
Donovan
people
Fitzgerald.
That's fair.
crummy jobs. So if we can open up that opportunity and give them space to take risks, do 6 jobs at a time, figure out what you're
Do
really good
some
at,
flow.
go. There's so many examples. So
But that's probably an argument for
Well, we're
guaranteed
not going to
income.
have
So
any
a lot of
liquor
those
beverages
opportunities are not
or
income
any
generating,
smoked
but they're not
beverages,
necessarily things that someone will pay you to do.
any
So
smoke products.
one of the best arguments for guaranteed income is that it would, open up.
We're
the
going to be a sober
opportunity to
mind
do things that count. So right
to
now,
the last
society
day.
does not reward.
absolutely, I'm completely with you.
Yeah.
I've been quizzing people high and low recently about their passions. No,
It's
passions.
another language. It's Quiznos. That's
And-
correct.
You guys are doing your passion jobs, and so a fraction of us are getting to do our passion
And
jobs.
tests.
But I've been talking to, taxi drivers, and one guy was a musician who made music that made autistic children
18 numbers
happy, but he
available
couldn't
on
do it in
YouTube
tiny version of
Red.
his life. Or I was talking to an engineer
Sponsored by
who was essentially sick of people's
218-1000
couches because he's building his
Neurology.
3D printer, fancy software I can't even describe. But all of those are
and
valuable
common law
things. I was
forgery.
talking to a consultant
Meeting
who
of
was
creditors
in
were
her
bankrupt. No one
at nights
showing
and on
up.
weekends, she was doing food waste in elementary schools.
How did they get there?
DC just adopted that idea. But all of these things are people that are really valuable to society. That we
That's
really gain
Facebook
from.
Live.
Today,
FAA,
I can't even
CE,
get to
book
do that because I
travel.
have to make sure that I am paying my rent and feeding my children.
Yeah. Or now that you've got access to the Affordable Care Act, you're not locked into
That is a
a
definite
job.
step.
You're not locked
the
into
right
a job
direction.
to keep your health care. You can go
Oh,
get your
well,
coverage and keep your kids
I want to
covered.
thank the White House Chief
Because
of
it's
Staff
affordable.
again. Thank you for joining us on
We have
Pink
to figure out
Shorts.
how to make more of those portable, if not guaranteed, which, well,
This show has been a Merriweather in production. Action. Please RSVP. You've just won the lotto. This has been a Meriwether in production. Social media. I'm Dwan.
Let me see if we can take one thing.
Today's show again is sponsored by 883-4011. White diamonds have always brought me luck. American. 3 planes. Better experiment. First 40 Niagara. Miss Conniff. Hello, welcome to School 3. 11. I love the song Elisa 1. It's in the fanny pack.